Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now, today's first story comes from Moist Hospital, and before we do get into it, I do want to give you a warning. It does contain talk of losing a pet. If you do want to skip it, please feel free to do so. Timestamps are always down in the description and along the timeline below. Thank you. Now it's titled, Would I Be the Arsehole for Grave Robbing Our Family Pet? Our dog passed 3 days ago. She predated my daughter and even my wife, so it was especially hard on me. We had a little burial in our backyard where my daughter ate, said a few words. We put her favorite blanket and a toy in the coffin I made, and I buried her. But unbeknownst to me, my daughter snuck in another toy. I had a stuffed penguin I've had for nearly 15 years. It was something I bought for my previous dog before she passed, and this new dog played with it a lot too. I wanted to keep this toy forever because it represented 2 dogs I've owned, not just the one. I kept it on my home office desk and had no intention of ever getting rid of it. I guess my daughter thought it should be with her too, so she took it, put it in the coffin, and I buried it. I only found out today after asking her where the penguin went. Obviously, I'm not going to get mad at her for this, but this cut deep. No fault of her own, she didn't know, but I'm left with a hard decision. I think tonight, when everyone's asleep, I'm going to dig up the coffin, pry it open, get the penguin back, and then rebury the coffin. I made mention of this to my wife, as a joke to gauge her reaction, and she said it was a dark joke and no sane person would do that. I might have to do it and never tell her or anyone else. Would I be the arsehole for grave robbing our family pet to retrieve this stuffed penguin? So OP first adds a picture of the penguin and says, I got it. I didn't get much time alone with my dog after she passed. I couldn't say anything at the funeral because my daughter said something beautiful I couldn't follow up. As macabre as it sounds, this is the closure I needed. Getting to spend 10 minutes saying anything I wanted to my puppy. We covered her in a blanket so I didn't see her. I just saw the penguin, grabbed it, said my spiel, and then reburied her. There was no smell or anything. I'm gonna be honest, it hurts. It still does. It only made my grieving worse doing this, but I know I'll always have a memento with me. What if we move, or there's a flood, or our house burns down? I'll have very little but memories. At least now I have something of hers I can cherish forever. First commenter says to OP, do what you have to do. I have my sweet dog's collar and I'm not reusing it. It's hanging here as a memento to the good girl she was. I needed that collar to keep a piece of her like you need the penguin. I'm sorry for your loss. S says, I actually agreed with everyone else who said don't do it, so I'm not going to even pretend to say I understand and I can imagine the grief and hurt you're going through now. So I'll just say, I'm glad you found the closure you needed and I hope you'll find peace as well. Because I can't help but think, any day now we'll see a new post. Am I the arsehole for not speaking to my husband after he robbed my dog's grave? SLR says, man, you are not thinking right. Look at what you said. What if we move, or there's a flood, or the house burns down? You think that toy is going to magically escape all those things unscathed? And on top of that, you're bringing a stuffed toy that has definitely been contaminated by decomp, whether you smelled anything or not, into the house where your wife and young daughter are. Beyond all that, they will all know you dug up your family pet to take the toy out. You really want your daughter to think her daddy is stealing from your dead dog. I really doubt your wife is going to have any good thoughts here either. I'm not going to call you an arsehole because grief can make people do some fucked up shit sometimes. But you seriously need to re-examine your thinking and processes around this. OP, when asked if someone finds it, OP says, they'll probably never find out. My wife and I both have our own individual safes in our basement. Mr. Penguin went straight into mine. So OP did update the post around 2 months later and said, I wanted to make an update on my Am I the Arsehole post. I couldn't keep it a secret for very long and told my wife. She was livid, but it blew over the next day. She said she doesn't want it in the house or anything else for that matter. She said she wanted it in the ground with our dog, but didn't want me to go through that again. So we keep it in my safe for the time being. is never to be brought out, especially shown to our daughter, who is not going to be made aware. I decided to seek some professional help as per the suggestion of one poster, and I've been told I have diagnosed depression. They asked me 20 some odd questions, and the only one I didn't answer yes to was things like harm. My doctor advised me to hold off getting another pet until I can fully grieve. It's hard because my last dog was bought by my parents and lived with a family until I moved out and brought it with me. This one had just passed. I did all the work. I drove to get her, paid for her, I did everything. There's reoccurring feelings of guilt. I didn't do as good as I could have, and I nitpick on things I've done wrong in the past regarding the dog. It's not healthy for me to have another one, at least for now. It's probably the hardest situation I've been in my whole life, and it was playing with my head so much I did what I did. I'm considering a penguin tattoo, as memorial likewise as someone suggested. Oh, this was such a difficult, sad post at the same time, and when I first read the title, I thought it was going to be someone that was literally taking like a family pet out of their grave and then taking it to a new location. I thought, oh, this ain't going to end well. But it turned out just to be getting like a sentimental item out of that grave. I was thinking to myself, would I do it? Probably not. But I understand where he was coming from at the same time. Like the comment said, like I've said in previous stories, grief makes us do all kinds of weird stuff to find comfort in losing, in this case, a family pet. And the item was very sentimental to him. I sort of got while the wife was side-eyeing this and thinking, whoa, hold on, don't be doing that kind of thing. Because at the same time, brought him some comfort. And, I don't mean this to sound horrible in saying it, the dog's not going to miss it. But in the end, I'm glad OP did go talk to a professional, got diagnosed when he did, and hopefully gets to tackle his grief and loss. It takes time, and it probably never fully goes away, but dealing with it in as a healthy way as possible is the best way forward. Come on now. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Let's move on to another story. Now, our next story comes from a throwaway account and says, my 35 female husband, 36 male, admitted to cheating with his best friend, 36 male. I'm not mad and I don't know why. Any advice would help. I, 35 female, have been married to my husband for a bit under 10 years now. We have no children. Yesterday night after dinner, my husband Jay broke down and admitted he's been sleeping with his childhood best friend, Pete, for quote, a while now, longer than I want to say. It was the first time I've seen him cry in more than 2 years over something serious. Jake is the kind that cries over dogs dying in shows, but is stony silent at tragedy. However, I'm not mad. I'm not even sure I care. I do love my husband more than anything in the world, and I don't want to leave him. I can't move on. I can't stay like this, and I don't want to. But Jay has said he won't stop seeing Pete, no matter what I choose. He's sorry for doing this to me, and he has said he loves me, and I'm his wife and heart, but Pete means the same to him. Basically, he can't choose. He loves us both. It falls to me to choose, and I don't know what to do. Honestly, the bit that hurts the most is the fact that Pete is a good friend of mine, but he couldn't face me himself, instead let Jay break down in front of me. Sorry this turned into a rant. Any advice would help, if anyone's gone through something similar. Quite simply in this one, I would leave. I mean, whenever I think of these stories, I always think of the trust. He was sneaking off behind your back, and it just kind of feels to me like at the moment you're in shock from what's happened. You said you don't feel anything. I just feel like that's your brain trying to protect you from the hurt that he's just causing you right now. And I just feel like if you was to stay with him, he's just going to hurt you further down the line. He's going to make that choice with Pete or whatever. But OP edits the post and said, it's come up a bit, so my husband has been openly bisexual since before I even met him. Peter is bi or pan. He's dated guys and girls and other in the past. No one in the last 3 years to my knowledge. I'm straight. Edit 2, since apparently I have no self-esteem, I guess I couldn't possibly have 4 degrees, a PhD, make roughly 120k a year, be the main provider for the household, run my own business and go to the gym twice a week. I know I look good. I actually have a rather large ego about myself. This honestly has nothing to do with self-esteem. I don't know where it reads that I'm a poor little girl who got in over her head by a big strong man. But I can bench press Jay and weight. I know what I'm worth, and I know I want Jay. So, first commenter says, leave. Opie says, I don't know if I should though. We're happy. We can still be happy. Throwing that away seems, I don't know. Snoo Recipes replies saying, so you don't mind sharing your husband? How many nights a week will you get to be with him, or will his friend be moving in with you? Opie says, I don't know. He's managed to be with Pete enough in the time we currently have. I don't know how it would have changed if I stayed. Mock says, what I don't understand is, why don't you want better for yourself? He told you he doesn't care if you stay or leave, but Pete, he stays. I think he cares about his relationship with Pete. How'd you stay with someone who doesn't care if you stay? He doesn't want to fight for this relationship. You yourself said you don't care that he cheated. You're financially independent. What's keeping you from just ending it and moving on? You say you love him, but if you did, wouldn't you care that he's cheated for years with a person you considered a friend? Wouldn't you care that he's chosen his relationship with Pete as the one he can't let go of? That's a good point, isn't it? Opie says, must be how I wrote this post, sorry. Jay does care, he just can't choose and doesn't want to force me to choose. He's staying at a friend's house, not Pete's. I double checked, he's staying with a married couple of a lesbian friend we have, so he's not cheating with them, right now. So I have the house in quote, as long as I need to do anything. Is it bad that I don't really care that he cheated? I have some heartache of the lies and who it was with. Not that it was a man, but Pete. The actual cheating itself doesn't bother me too much, and I honestly think I could just move on, ignore it, or somehow work with it. The OP came in with an update and said, hi all, some of you are about to lose your shit. Side note, I chose to cancel my meeting with Pete. After reading all your advice, I chose to ask for space, which he, Jay, 36 male, freely gave. He was staying at a friend's house when I called. I couldn't face him yet and asked. This helped to confirm what I already knew. He was indeed staying with our mutual friends, a married lesbian, both 36 female couple. So he didn't run to Pete, 36 male, as some of you thought. I was leaning towards separation after reading your advice. Well, a few days after I requested space, I decided to ask for separation officially. Cut a long and ice cream and tear-filled 3 weeks short, I caved and called him. I did not beg for him back or anything like that. I asked him out for a walk and we had a long talk. It was a fair while ago, so I can't word for word type what was said, but it boiled down to this. 1. I still love him no matter what. 2. He still loves me no matter what. 3. He loves Pete no matter what. 4. He does not value either of us above the other. When he spoke about me leaving him but not leaving Pete, he was giving me an out more than anything else. Jay would be destroyed if I chose to leave, but he didn't want me to stay if I truly didn't want to, which is why he didn't beg for me to stay. After this talk, we stayed separate for a few more days. About 7 weeks ago, Jay moved back home and Pete came over for dinner. That talk was longer, harder, and contained more personal details that I do not want to share here. But the points were as follows. Jay and Pete have not been together as long as I feared. It's about 28 months. That's a long ass time, what the hell? Not since they were teens. Pete truly didn't want me to get hurt, and he was the one pushing Jay to be honest with me. Pete is gay, but he dated girls in the past. Neither of us are attracted to each other and we're not together. We're all going to individual and couples and group therapy. Couples are each of us as me and Jay need to work on our marriage and emotions. Pete and Jay need to work out the secrecy and talk through their own relationship. And Pete and I want to work on working together. Something I should have mentioned, but didn't due to the fact that I know how Reddit would react, is I am asexual. I'm not in any way sexually attracted to my husband or anyone for that matter. However, I choose to have sex with him as I know he enjoys it. I still have a libido, I just don't feel the need to have sex. When I have sex with Jay, rarely, once every 2-ish months, it isn't a chore, but a more intimate cuddle. Jay knows this and has known this for our entire marriage. In fact, he was the one who helped me figure out I was asexual. If this is hard for you to understand, remember attraction does not equal choices. Ace-phobes will be blocked with no reply. Honest questions can be answered. So yeah, that's my story. I can take further questions in the comments. So, Mock says, sorry, I'm a bit confused. Are you guys a throuple minus the sex? Or did you get back together with Jay and accept he has sex with Pete? Also, does that mean you now don't have to have sex with Jay out of obligation anymore? Because he's getting his needs met by Pete. OP says, me and Pete are not together. I don't know if I will have sex with Jay again. It's something I'm working on in therapy. Now, when OP was talking about being the breadwinner, I was thinking, is that what Jay is really after here? You know, if OP's the breadwinner and taking care of most of the stuff, Jay doesn't want to lose that. But, you know, regardless in all of this, it's incredibly messy. And I come back once again to the trust issue. 28 months. This guy's been cheating behind your back. Yet he said he values you both as equals. Oh shit. I hate to say it, but it just feels like, you know, it's a disaster waiting to happen. And I hope you do realize that, OP, because you deserve better than that. It's as simple as that in my opinion. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And let's move on to another story. Now, our next story is from the Am I the Arsehole subreddit, not updated as yet, from No Mushroom 3470, and says, am I the arsehole for going to the police immediately when I found out my parents took out debt in my name? My parents took out credit cards and loans in my name. It was fine when they were paying the bills, but they got behind. I didn't have a key to the mailbox, so I never saw the bills or anything. I just finished my 3rd year of university and I was going to move out. That would require me to get a credit check and stuff. My parents freaked out and forbid me from moving out. They said it was stupid that I would waste money on moving out when I could save money living at home. They didn't like my boyfriend, so I thought that was their issue. But I was wrong. Long story short, I'm about $60,000 in debt because of them. I cannot afford to pay that off. I told them that they needed to clear the debt immediately and change the house rules so my boyfriend could spend the night. They said that they didn't have the money to pay the debt and I could not strong arm them into changing the rules of their house. I called my auntie and asked her if I could please come stay with her for a bit. She let me and asked a lot of questions. Then she showed me a dozen Reddit posts about parents screwing up their kids' future and kids allowing it. I went to the police and reported it. My parents got arrested and charged. They're furious with me. I know they didn't spend the money on me. I do not know what they did spend it on. I don't care. I feel bad for them, but I'm not letting them fuck up my future. Am I the arsehole? Man, another set of parents willing to fuck up their children's future. I always find that mad that they go down this route, but particular Banana says not the arsehole. It was fine when they were paying the bills. No, it wasn't. It is identity fraud and it is illegal. Put a freeze on your credit and monitor your reports from now on. Tell them you're furious with them as well. Opal says, no, you are not the arsehole. Your parents committed fraud by taking out debt in your name without your knowledge, which has put your financial future at risk. Reporting them to the police was necessary to protect yourself from further harm and hold them accountable for their actions. You have every right to take legal action and prioritize your own well-being in this situation. Liquid Snake says, not the arsehole, OP. Not only are you well within your rights to do this, but it's imperative for your financial health to report identity theft to the police. No matter what your parents or any of your extended family tells you, stay the course and make sure that this debt is cleared. Yes, that means your parents will go to prison for a long time, but that's what they deserve because this is a crime that destroys lives. Also, do not under any circumstances make any payments on this debt. Doing so will only make it harder for you to get it cleared. Good luck, OP. I always find it like trying to think of what's going through their heads that first time to get a credit card or loan of some sort in their name. Are they thinking along the lines, oh, don't worry, we'll pay it back, and then it snowballs? Or are they just thinking, you know, not our problem kind of thing? I just find that absolutely bizarre. Not that I'm excusing it either way, just trying to think of the actual thought process, you know. But now, what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And just a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting involved in today's stories. Your love, your support, your time always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for being involved, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.